Hi. Let's today we talk about something our ancient political history of India and neighboring countries today is. Firstly, I would like to discuss about those yug or those era which is called Vedic or after Vedic. Generally in India, in middle part, from the middle part of Indian history, Indian political history, there was a major or main leaders like main leaders and main leadering states or what it is called Khand, that is Magad and Awadh, ruled by Rajwarshi Ashoka, and many more leaders were there together, ruled in those era, and they makes their records, they work something for art and culture, like, and they are also with those leaders who are from South India and Punjab Prant, like Sindh Ghati, Teji. They all together ruled in India, and at that time Indians were very poor, very needy, as India was not developed as today is. So after that era, Mughals came and started ruling in India, and we people are slowly start accepting them and finally accept them as a king of our country. But Mughals were here and they built many national and international level heritages in our country, as today known as Lal Killa, Taj Mahal, Qutub Minar, and many heritages are there which we can talk about, or which are very very known by world. So after a while, they decade to decade they ruled and make their records, and they worked for art and culture. They start spreading their religion like Muslim, Arabic, Farsi, and many religions from western part, like Afghanistan, Pakistan, or other Arabian culture. All together they ruled here, and many people converted in their religion, accepted their religion, and start respecting them and believing their thoughts, their ideologies. But after a decade or era, people start becoming boring about their strict rules, about their strict policies, about their tax policies, about their rigid policy, and they decided to refuse their kingdoms. In between, there was a British government, British people came from England or those areas. They are saying they were seeing, and they were just watching a room to put their businesses in India, as it was a big market of human resource, natural resources were there. It was India was very rich in natural resource. It was highly rich in agriculture sector, metal, minerals, natural resources like coals, Many. I can't tell just a or two, one or two natural resources. Many natural resources were there in country. They were just started looking those business policy, and slowly they footed in Indian culture and start establishing their business places. Firstly, they took West Bengal for their working capital and established their printing presses business and news. Today we call news, that is news channels, and start brainwashing illiterate Indian peoples. And after a while, after a decade or 2 decades, Indian also start accepting British government, British rules, British policies, and Mughals become slowly weak and finally leave ruling the India. So by the Babur, Akbar, etc., very influential kings in India gone away, and they died. After dying them, British government start ruling, and the Queen of Britain start doing businesses in country. Similarly, this process runs for few decades, and people become adjustable with British and so on. But finally, because of their religious spiritness policy, their strict tax laws, they started imposing their own soldiers over innocent Indians, and they start torturing Indians. So we Indians find that it was not relevant to our country, and it is very loss that they will make decisions for us, and we cannot take any part in their decision making process, as they are very literate, intelligent, and powerful. Because of this, we Indian cannot stand before them, as they are very educated, they are very powerful, they have soldiers, they have financial power, they have support from other countries. So we feel it will be very loss if we will go with British government, and we will not be able to work with them, as they are very their criteria are very high, and we cannot fulfill their criteria. So some students group, some agriculture farmers, some common peoples started doing movements with the help of like Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, and many more agitators were there, like Mr. Bhagat Singh, who died just for the nation, and who died with along with two friends for the nation. And it gives a hit for the country to work alone or take their decisions by own assembly. So after such mentality came in our common people, there were a protest started against British government. Yes, British government gave us pain, a very bad pain, but they did much better things, like about literacy, art and culture, and many other systems like law and order, soldiers rules, tax policies. There were many policies which is adopted or derived from the British government, which was good for us, and they make us a frame for our human development. And as we start developing in their frame, but we could not took any part in their own policy. That's why we started protest against British government, and finally slowly our countries like Nepal's, Bengal's, and Pakistan, etc. Those started making that they will not stay long for integrated India. And slowly, like in 1905, I think 1905, Bengal separated from northeastern state, Nepal separated from India, Pakistan, and finally they started making policies for separating Pakistan from India, as it was not possible to keep them within the country and develop a huge or a wide range, a wide area of Indian subcontinent. And finally British government became weak, and they decided to separate the Pakistan independently, stay living independently. And our agitators and their agitators like Mr. Jinnah, I think Jinnah, they separated their Pakistan in the name of religion or whatever they did. What was there, I don't know, but like this British government left the country and give us India independent for our public, and we start making our elected members in assembly, elected member in our assembly for 5 years, and taking many decisions and start making many policies for our upliftment, our betterment of the society. This process is still going on, and we after every 5 years we elect government of ministers at state level, at country level, like MLAs, MPs, for making a policy in state assembly or in national capital region. There was an MP, what did you say, assembly. So whole system was adopted or derived from British government, but just we became the driver of the policy, or that vehicle which was in the hand of British government. But after coming in our hand, what did our policy makers? If you are witness of last 50 years, 60 years decisions taken by our elected members, and I hope we enjoyed it a lot. And in this process, the first Prime Minister of India was Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, and then after every 5 years again election held by Election Commission of India, and if public wish to change their leaders, they can elect their own leaders for making policy for our growth and betterment. But the problem is, in this process we lost our 60 years, and we get nothing. I can't say we get many things, but in very slow motion. I know there is a media, execution, judiciary, legislation, but all this runs through a process, and in this process somewhere there is a corruption which make us slow, which make us a break, which make us to take a break just to go and touch our targets which our political party taken. But in changing of political party, national level, state level, it losses, huge losses for the public and common people of the country, especially youths or those literate youths who are working in day to day in different sectors. It may be government, it may be private, it may be contextual, whatever it is. But it impacts on our employment, it impacts on our art and culture, it impacts on our thought process. But as a Indian, as a youth of the country, I and we all just wishes betterment for our country, not taking any side of any political party like AGP, BJP, Congress. There are many political party today just making flags for showing their majority in our country and fulfill the parliament with their own motive, with their own agenda. But in many cases it is found that they are not doing they are not doing anything in the interest of country or youth, especially unemployment. The main motive of making this video is just to awareing those youth, those poor people who faces problems in our day-to-day activity because of corruption, because of lapse of policies, because of lapse of systems holdings on our population. As we know, there are a huge population in our country. It is near about 140 crores people. I hope one day our diplomats, our whole sector like doctors, engineers, laws, advocates, judiciaries, legislation, all together will work against infiltration, burden of foreigners. There should be they will make some easy and convenience labor laws for our youths, and they provide employment to us as we are unemployed. We are not working with any authority. We faces many mental harassment. We faces many psychological trauma just because of protest doing in roadside against corruption, like corruption in recruitment, teacher recruitment, APSC, UPSC, BPSC, every state level board recruitment. There may be corruption. I can't give a certificate of being corrupted or not, but if there is anything about corruption, then why this word is there, that corrupt? Who is corrupt? If no one who is corrupt, then why we have corruption word in our dictionary? It should not be in our dictionary, that the corruption. The word should be removed from our Indian dictionary. then we will find actual independence. Then we will find, and then we will proud to be an Indian. Because of this corruption, we separated our country. We separated. We run movements in India as an independent country. So these are the main issues in country nowadays. In regional wise, Cape Amendment protest is there going on. Some people are protesting against Citizen Amendment Bill, against migration, against some of the neighbors imposing on over us. As we have employment problem, they are imposing laws, they are imposing labors, and they are imposing illegal migrants in our country. This should be noticing by those diplomats, those people who has higher authority, power, who is in power, and for those political parties should also sit together and think again about these most important and valuable issues which are going on street level. You just come in street and ask those people who doesn't have shelter, who doesn't have food, who doesn't have employment, who doesn't have literacy, who doesn't have schools, who doesn't have capacity to read and write, who doesn't have capacity or quality to work with a good institution or organization. These are the politicians. So as a youth, as a student, as a Indians, I just keep awareing those authority, those higher authority, those government peoples who has responsibility on their shoulders, who has burden about people like me and us. They should make some policy, or they should take care about those issues which I mentioned a few minutes ago in this video. With these words, I will not make this video very big. It will be irrelevant. So I hope this video will shown by such peoples, or such peoples who has access to those authority, and one day we will get justice, as we are psychologically, mentally harassed by many corrupted peoples. Like there is corruption in municipality, there is corruption in land laws, there is corruption in our defense, who doesn't take cares immediately after making them complain. So such are the problem. If government will take initiative, we youth will be very joyful about the government. Whatever government it is, we don't mind it, because BJP, Congress, it is just a phenomenon in our Indian process with making election. So it will go, and we will get again those government, those political party, but the whole system, the policy will be same, remain same. The youth will be ruined by some influential people. We will be ruined by some powerful people. So just think again about those poor people, those youths who doesn't have capacity to read and write, who doesn't have quality or skill to work with good institution. With this word, I would like to ask again, if there is if you found anything wrong with this video and my thinking, please forgive me and give me like and shares and comment, keep commenting if and indicating what wrong with this video or what problem is, if there is any wrong. So thank you very much for listening my video, and Jai Hind.